Team back. Mouse spots turn to ban.
Alrighty then, hello and welcome ladies and gentlemen to a Premier League presentation going on into a game between Mouse Sports and Team Empire. This is going to be a best of 3 series as per usual and is one of the last games that we have for the season of TPL, for Season 4 specifically. So this is going to be an interesting seasonal match. We do have Twista and Enlight being the two stand-ins to fill out the Empire's roster for today. We have seen Twista do some action before, but Hardev was the stand-in in place of Enlight for their last match here, but they are raring to go, looking for a win here as they really want to try to secure a position in the playoff bubble. But easier said than done. It's very close rankings. Either way, Mouse Sports playing with their full roster here. Intersect is Koikwa, and then, it's Fada switched his name back. His name is actually Broken Hand Gaming, which I thought was kind of awesome, considering he did have like a cycling accident and is having a little bit of a rough time making sure that he can reach every key and everything like that. But nevertheless, being a trooper, sticking it out for this match here, and good to see both teams working at this strength here. Either way, blabbering on long enough, I'd like to introduce myself, of course, Blaze, and my co-caster, Vikramon. How's it going, man?
Hey man, it's going really well. I'm interested to see, obviously, it's always interesting when a team is going through some roster changes, adding new elements in. Will Empire be able to take the win? This is higher stakes for them than Mouz. I think Mouz actually will not make the playoffs of TPL, regardless of whether they win or lose this match. But still, looking for that practice, we have both these teams heading into the EMS 1 Cup over the weekend. And I think Fat's actually not attending that due to the accident, although I'm not sure. I guess if he's playing this, he might as well play that.
Yeah, that's the idea there, is it was a limiting factor, but I thought they were going to announce it within 24 hours if they knew what was going on, but they do have a potential stand-in lined up. They're probably going to EMS either way, but if it works out for Fata here, then they could still definitely try to go with their full roster, even though there are some injuries at hand.
Absolutely. I mean, playing with your full strength is very important, especially in high-level competition, like a LAN where you're facing off against the best teams from the US and Europe, from North America and Europe, I should say. Now, Empire, of course, they're not just playing with new players. Twista is now basically their drafter, I guess, or he drafted their games against Virtus Pro that we watched a couple days ago. Unfortunately, that didn't exactly go very well for Empire, but if they get a win here, they can still be in playoff contention. So we'll have to see what Twista has up his sleeve. Already with the Storm Spirit pick at 3rd, actually, taking it out in the first phase.
Yeah, very interesting. I actually noted that his icon is the Storm Spirit, so I'm not sure if he picked that up. He was playing supportive last time for Virtus Pro, so maybe he wouldn't get an opportunity to actually pick that up, but still something to consider. With Godblock being gone, they needed somebody that could cover the draft, and presumably Twista stepped up to the plate, so that'll be interesting. Just to kind of go through the draft real quick, since has been plenty of time, relatively quick draft going across. We do see, as far as bans go for Empire, the Bat Rider, the Phantom Lancer, the Shadow Demon, the Bane, and the Alchemist were taken out, whereas for Mouse Sports, they took out the IO, the Nyx Assassin, the Lone Druid, Bounty Hunter, and Silencer even. But along with that, Team Empire picked up the Lifestealer, Rubik, Storm Spirit. Mouse Sports going for their lineup of Magnus, Clockwork, Gyrocopter, and Lion, which I gotta say has some very scary initiation potential.
Fairly straightforward draft from Empire here, with the exception of the Storm Spirit. Take the Lifestealer because he's basically the strongest carry option there is. Take the Rubik as a response to the potential Magnus, the realized Magnus. And then try to ban out all the possible responses to Lifestealer. So take out that Shadow Demon, take out that Bane. Of course, there is a Clockwork on the field. Mouz secured that fairly early. Koikwa, he plays a good Clockwork. We could see some very big plays from him, depending. And the one sort of wild card is the Storm Spirit. Will they actually run him mid, or will they run him solo safe? Or even, we've even seen Mouz, they used to run Storm Spirit as the safe lane farmer a couple of times when Korakai was still on the team. I wouldn't expect that, but it's not utterly impossible. There are still mid options available in the pool if they want to side lane that Storm Spirit. Queen of Pain, Puck, these are heroes that are still in.
Yeah, but I like to pick up with the Lion, honestly, the Hex being instantaneous. If he decides to go no mana drain at all and just focuses on ranking up that Hex, it's really good lockdown going up against a Storm, because the Ball Lightning won't be fast enough to actually evade that. He'll just be turned into a little froggy, and from there has a great chance of being bursted on down from the follow-up. Of course, Jakiro, a great counter pusher to an extent, and a solid laner with the fact that he can Ice Path on top of a Nurse Spike.
And Clockwork.
Yeah, I mean, Clockwork has his own potential, but you can still Ball Lightning out of the cogs.
Sorry, I don't mean against the Storm Spirit. I just mean this Jakiro Clockwork combo against everybody but Storm Spirit is going to be enormous.
Yeah. Yeah, and same thing with Magnus too. I mean, reverse polarity and macropyre, that's just your bread and butter right there for a team fight to
I
really
love
work
this
well.
Jakiro pick.
So I think it works well with pretty much their entire team.
And Alex is a great Jakiro player, actually. He plays Jakiro more than almost any other main support player in the current scene. Mouz picks up that Jakiro more than usual. It is a pick that just about every team has in their toolkit, but Mouz really like it, and I really think in combination with the Clockwork and Lion and the amount of lockdown they can bring, this Jakiro could do some serious damage. We'll sort of see how it pans out. So yeah, okay, I was right. They're going to put, I guess Twista will actually go up on that Storm Spirit because he has the avatar and everything, although they could put, I'm actually not no, they're going to put Vigos on the Storm Spirit because Scandal's on the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, exactly. They want to keep their solo lanes the same. That's one thing that throughout the chaos of Empire's roster seems to have been...
Mo is on Storm.
Oh, he switched up his
No, they
name
switched. They
too.
swapped. Okay.
Okay, they swapped it up, and we do see that, yeah, Vigos
Prepare for battle.
will be looking at picking up the... Or no, Scandal. They keep on swapping it. They're just going to screw with our heads. Scandal is on the Storm Spirit. Vigos is on his rather signature Queen of Pain.
Yeah.
We do have Twist on the Keeper of the Light. Below Your Brain will be picking up that Life Stealer. And in Light, the stand-in is going to be supporting up on that Rubik.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I did think that they would potentially put the Storm up on the side and then the Queen of Pain. One of these two will try to secure an early Orchid, and that could be a big deal because against Magnus, even against Jakiro or Lion, being able to take those... Mouz are a very combination-driven lineup in this game. They want to sort of have more than one of their heroes, or even like 3 or 4 of their heroes, sync up their spells to sort of win a fight, until Black gets huge in this Gyrocopter at least.
I think that Mouse misjudged these lanes. They put so much HP restoratives on the Clockwork. Koikwa has 3 sets of HP regen. He has 2 Tangos, a Salve that's been pulled onto him. They were expecting him to have a really rough time. He will be able to put that to use 1 versus 1, but I don't know. In this situation, a tri-lane bottom I don't think is what they're prepared for necessarily.
It's just one pool, right? Because he can afford Tango Salve's shield branch. It's just one pooled set of Tangos.
Yeah, but just the way they did it. I mean, it's not that detrimental, but you can tell that that's not exactly what they're expecting. Now they see Vigos up here, and they probably know exactly what's up. But I honestly believe when they were buying their items, choosing their lanes, they had a different setup in mind. But gonna have to go up against this.
The thing is, Clock is gonna cop quite a bit of harassment from TA early. Like, to actually get your cogs doing anything against her, you have to go up so far, so he's going to be sort of peeling back, and he's going to take a lot of harassment damage early. I feel like it's more or less okay, because what were Empire going to do? Put the Queen of Pain solo hard? Like, they really didn't have that many options. Whichever one of Storm or Quap wasn't going to go mid would almost certainly have to go up solo safe. So if Mouz misjudged this, they misjudged it's a fairly obvious point, I feel. I think that they just meant to pool onto Koikwa just so he feels safer in the 1v1, so Vigos doesn't totally just dominate this lane.
Sure. And we do see Alex attempting to go for the stack. Actually, no, just going for a single pull. He's going to go for one single pull, but he won't actually be able to double it up. A lot of times you cut down this tree and try to go to the north, but there's actually no creeps there. Been warded out by Empire, so going to be a limiting factor where they actually don't have as much control as they'd prefer. Along with that, this Observer Ward gives actually no vision on the Keeper Light from that position there. Either way, the Illuminate comes on through, does a little bit of harassment, but doesn't snipe any of the creep kills just yet.
That's okay. The main thing is you don't have to necessarily get extra gold on the Keeper of the Light. I don't know if you saw that Dotametrics post, but Keeper of the Light, whether or not he gets gold has almost no bearing on whether he wins, at least in public games.
Nice.
So the thing here for Empire is just to make sure that Mouz don't get good lane management. So just to bring down the creeps enough that this lane clears very quickly and it moves back towards Blow Your Brain is good enough for them, whether or not Twista gets gold off of it. The more salient point, I feel, is that Empire, if they're able to dominate both of these solo lanes, or at least do well enough, I feel like they're going to have a huge advantage going up into the mid-game, even if this aggressive try doesn't dominate. Because once that Storm Spirit and Queen of Pain start getting out of control, especially if one or both of them finds Orchid Malevolence, they're really going to be able to pick apart Mouz's Wombo combo.
What do you think about this pick about the homing missile on...
Scandal.
Yeah, he was actually down in the river doing a lot of damage here. They will get the Shockwave. They will get the first blood. He was able to get a beautiful skewer off. How did he get in that position?
Well, Scandal just ran out of mana, and Storm Spirit moves very slowly. So he had popped off too many spells, and he ended up right here, so he couldn't like slow him down any further.
Sure.
And Fata, he just sort of skewered going east, put Scandal here, and at that point, once you're Storm Spirit and you're not near the ramp, you can't actually leave. Like, you won't be able to escape.
That is a hard 20 movement speed advantage, and he was able to use that very, very effectively. So he gets quarried up that bottle. We do see Alex with the haste here and doing a little bit of poke and prod. But yeah, really good call. That was an amazing first blow. We do see the telekinesis going on to Alex, but it's not going to be more than a handful of right clicks. But with only 2 armor, that does take away about half his HP bar.
Top one, somebody will die. I can't tell who yet.
I don't know. I don't think either one of them wants to commit fully 100%, but they are duking it back and forth to the point that Koikwa is going to have to play extremely cautiously for the next creep wave.
He's gonna rockets. Yeah, he doesn't have any more mana, so he has to go off here. He actually has a healing salve down. So this is why they pooled, by the way, because Koikwa is just going to get slowly muscled out of this lane as time goes by.
And there is going to be a bottle coming out for Vigos. The courier is sending in the bottle of their own. So yeah, they're going to go for another bottle. One on Fata, one on Koikwa. And yeah, battle of the restoratives, I suppose.
Really, really smart. If you can, like, Cogs will drain Quap's mana right quick, so if Koikwa can get the mana sustain, which this bottle is helping with, then he can contest this lane, and that's what they want. They want to sort of do as well as possible in these 2 lanes, because right now, they're basically losing as far as creep kills go in every lane. Only really Koikwa is keeping up.
Sure enough. We do see, using his bottle, Fata has been able to harass back Scandal pretty hardcore. He's down on 250 life. The rune spawn, however, in 5 seconds will be the judge of whether or not that's extremely impactful. We do see it spawn on top lane. Alex making sure he covers up the bottom rune, though. And it looks like regen will go to Fata, which is extremely good. Not only it's good, solid for him, but it's really good that the Storm Spirit doesn't have it.
Absolutely. Regen rune, Storm loves it, especially once he hits that ball lightning, which he hasn't quite yet, but it's going to happen soon. And without rune control, Storm Spirit is actually quite a weak mid laner relative. He's one of the few mid options that doesn't just beat Magnus. Like, he actually can lose to Magnus. And so far, I mean, he gave up First Blood, so you see that exact thing being enacted.
We kind of see the couriers being used more so as milkmen than anything else. Right now, they're delivering back and forth the bottles. Right now, there were 2 bottles being crowed for Empire, and there's 2 on the field for Mouz as well. So they're always constantly making their rounds, delivering it about, and kind of trying to help out the individuals win their war of attrition.
I would love to see a second courier for one of these teams, considering they've got their ferrying 2 bottles. The way Fnatic is playing these days, constantly with the second courier. Something you used to see a lot, but not that much.
Actually, we finally get initiation down at bottom. Open wins telekinesis. They do get a nice impale, though. Earthspike will delay the damage, but still Gyrocopter needs 2 more right clicks. Come on out, blow your brain. Doesn't get it. Gets hexed up. The turnaround with the barrage. They'll actually get the return kill. Now coming in. Magnus will drop off. Shockwave will connect onto Rubik, but they need this ice path. Twista will have to dodge out, and he should be dropped down. There is the reverse polarity. Nothing in light can do. The last right click, the magic stick. Actually, he might get out. No, barely getting dropped down at the very last second.
It was almost a Mind Games Ice Path. It's actually only rank 1, and he's chosen to level Dual Breath rank 2. But still, just the presence of the Ice Path causing Twisted to sort of hesitate. I actually think he might have lost more time attempting to kite away from the Ice Path than he would have been stunned by the stun itself. But either way, the RP was probably going to come down on him, unfortunately. And Empire, Blow really overextending there, not thinking his rage maybe would have lasted longer than it did, and that sets them behind substantially. A level behind on the Lifestealer, and Magnus gets a level up on Scandal in the mid as well.
Just good pickup of the magic stick on the Gyrocopter. Definitely saved him there. Koikwa having a hard time up on top, though. Getting caught in the cogs, he will be able to get on out there, but Scandal has so much mana to work with. They had him poisoned up. They do drop him down. Scandal takes a few hits for his trouble, but nevertheless, picking up a kill on that Clockwork. However, he is level 6, and will look to transition down to try to actually make that hookshot, put it to work.
He's done okay. I mean, 20 last hits. He has his boots. Not the best thing in the world, but he has Bottle as well, and he hits level 6 in a very timely fashion, this Clockwork. He was never going to just dominate Queen of Pain. He had a shot at a kill earlier, but he definitely doesn't now.
He's actually going up top, so that's a situation where they still want to keep that 1v1 matchup going and force Vigos to continuously use the courier for bottles and actually just try to go in for some real big harassment here. He can actually directly contest her. If he forces out the blink, the battery assault can do a ton of work on her, so just has to time it very, very carefully. But that rank 1 blink is a 12-second cooldown, which I don't think she can really afford to throw away.
No, Vigos actually has to be really careful about how he uses his blink, because if he uses it and then gets hooked, he's actually dead.
Exactly my thoughts there. So we'll see exactly how it plays itself out, but interesting nevertheless. Magnus gets his RP back up as far as mana goes, but wants to go in for this tower. He's trying to go for the last hit. He had a double damage room, but gets stunned out. Either way, the Siege Creep takes it away. Now going in, trying to burst down Scandal a little bit, but the ball lightning keeps him at arm's length.
That's fine. No deny is good enough for Fata here. I mean, it's actually better for the team overall to not get the last hits, provided your team still gets it and it's not denied. So this Magnus, has been doing work. I mean, that's the thing. Storm is an interesting choice because, like I said, he's one of the few traditional mid-heroes who doesn't just dominate that Magnus. And as a consequence, Fata has gotten quite good development. He's actually a quarter of the way to Blink Dagger and has the Arcane Boots.
Yeah, that's really, really good stuff for him. He started off with the Magic Stick. I wasn't entirely sure, but Scandal loves to spam out that Remnant, trying to do damage with Overload. On bottom, we do actually see a really aggressive position. They get the Ice Path onto 2. Twista can easily be focused here. Shockwave burning him down. Nice telekinesis, though. Will hit on everybody here, but it's not enough. Twista falls, and Rubik's not too swift on his feet. He has the Boots of Speed. Scandal is invis. Will try to dissuade them from going forward, but honestly, there's not much he can do. Ice Path almost connecting, just on the lip of it. Courier going in to visit Scandal might be a little bit too far extended, but he gets his item. They get a kill, though. Magnus coming on in to finish off the Rubik. Now, nothing really happened after that. The Courier was not able to be sniped, and
Scandal and Black are about to meet up.
Very, very direct there, but Scandal has plenty of mana to jump on out safely to his tier 1, so a little bit of a skirmish back and forth, but in the end, Mousesport's still reigning supreme, 5-1.
Dude, Broken Hand Gaming is strong. Fata picking up 2 more kills there. His shockwaves are actually, for a guy with a hand and a cast, they are really on point. Especially the second one from the low ground, blind across onto Enlight on the Rubik. Really, really excellent aim there. And playing this Magnus to the hilt, frankly, he's going to hit Blink in a shockingly fast time.
Yeah. That's very, very destructive for them. When they get the Blink Dagger, they can pretty much do whatever the heck they want. Queen of Pain and Storm Spirit are generally high maneuverability heroes that are fine as long as they're not locked down, but that's just it. With a Blink Magnus, there's always that opportunity to be locked down. I'm pretty sure that Reverse Polarity can hit evenly with a Queen of Pain Blink, so when you know you're initiating and they don't, that means that you're going to always get the Reverse Polarity off before the Queen of Pain can blink on out of there. Ball Lightning, not the same story, but nevertheless a great tool to try to put people down. We do see Ball Lightning in. Yeah, there's no hope for Black here. Immediately incinerated.
Absolutely. They still have Sonic Wave, too, so they want a little more, I think, from this.
Hawk Shot coming in. Koikwa not underneath the tower, but turn around with the stun. It's enough to bring down Twista here. Really nice move. Sonic Wave committed on the Lion, though. They are able to get a second kill for Vigos. He doesn't have Blink for 5 seconds, but should be able to wait it out just moments until he can blink to the north and be in a relatively safe position. Alex is kind of pincering him in from the north, but focused on Enlight in this position here, looking for maybe a skewer to set it up, and he's in a really bad spot. He's not necessarily dead, but I fear in a few seconds. Yeah, the Skewer will connect. Ooh, nice. Oh, beautiful, beautiful stun. Electro Vortex comes on out, and Light survives, but only to get picked off by Koikwa. But Scandal, with that double damage, we're doing work on Magnus, and he will fall. Reverse Polarity on the Courier. That's something you don't see every day. Either way, Scandal taking a lot of hits and should be dropped down here. Koikwa forced him down. The Ball Lightning not going to be enough with a rocket to finish it off.
Almost. Too bad about that rocket. Clockwork with that global damage, man. They needed to get Vigos on the board, so I appreciate that they sort of went in, got some kills, but unfortunately that tier 1 tower not being up actually cost them a lot. That's the price of not having map control right there, Blaze, is that they don't have this security for Scandal to be safe going up here, for Enlight to be able to comfortably just retreat this way. And so after sort of dipping really deep to get the kills here, they really just didn't have a good exit valve through here.
Yeah. My question is, how does that robot courier feel? I mean, he just got super hardcore magnetized. I mean, that's all about Magnus. It's magnets everywhere. North, South Pole, I don't even know what happens, but the robot certainly is a little bit confused himself.
He has a mechanical mediary. If it was a donkey, it would probably just be lightly stunned, but that they're going to have to send Morok's mechanical mediary back to the Morok store for some repairs.
Sure enough. But they can wait until after this game, because right now they're doing okay. Like you said, they're putting some points on the board for Queen of Pain. He's gotten a couple kills himself, but still wants more. Wants more stats, wants more mobility and survivability.
He's so poor, Blaze. Like, this is a very undominant Vigos. Only 32 last hits. He fished for a really long time to actually find that double kill. And so, I mean, he doesn't even have treads. And if they were hoping to get some sort of fast orchids on either Scandal or Vigos, they're nowhere in sight. So they need to put more kills on the board, and I think they realize this, but right now Mouz are just positioning very intelligently.
Yeah, they're always in a good spot, always have great frontline heroes where they want them to be, whereas Black is just safely farming, at least for the moment. An interesting skill build he went for. He went for, obviously you generally go Barrage level 1, but he went for Homing Missile at level 2, which I thought was odd in a try versus try. And then following that up, he maxed out the Barrage, and he is just now ranking up his Flat Cannon, so not the best. So we get the hookshot onto the Storm Spirit, but he has a Haste Rune, he has so much mobility, still got cogs in, got pushed back by the cogs multiple times over. He's actually losing big chunks of HP. immediately. Queen of Pain jumping up on the high ground here, duking it out with Alex. Not enough damage over time, though, with that magic wand. Vigos is going to fall. Committed everything to that and still lost it. In Light, lifting up.
Scandal.
Scandal on the back end, jumps in too far, the big damage. Koikwa pulling him in with the cogs, the Finger of Death locking him down, and still trying to finish off in Light. I'm not sure if they can do this, but the homing missile certainly will try. Locks him in position, and the Shockwave. The Shockwave is just barely enough, and there's nothing to stop him from TPing out.
What's the deal with this broken hand gaming? Are we going to see a trend of pros breaking their hands so they can hit these skill shots from long distances? I mean, that Shockwave... Man, I mean, obviously if the homing missile hadn't hit, it wouldn't have happened, but he knew that the tower damage alone would not get the homing missile, and as soon as it stunned, there was Fata with another kill. He improves Blaze to 4-1-3, quite a good round for him, and Scandal and Vigos just not syncing up here with this Queen of Pain Storm Spirit. This should be such a formidable force, and it's just not. They're sort of just dying individually or getting locked down.
And Blow Your Brain hasn't been really impactful since the laning phase. He actually moved on. He went towards the top lane for quite a while. He's found some farm. He's up topping that CS by 20, but that's nevertheless, no Nakes bombs on the Queen of Pain or the Storm Spirit, and just no real damage kill pressure.
I think that's okay, except in
hookshot coming on in, going in to burn down Twist immediately. No Illuminates whatsoever, and they commit no RP onto In Light just yet. They are duking it, but we're here. Alex taking a lot of hits, will fall, but they finish off In Light as well. Big Shockwave coming out. Actually on hits on nothing, though. Going right on in between, threading the needle. Scandal taking a lot of disables, but he should survive long enough to get the ball lightning up the cliff. Goes right back up to the safety of his tier 1, and Black Can is not going to do enough.
Still, though, it's still 2 for 1. The RP wasn't 100% optimal, but it wasn't by any means bad either. They probably are going to pick up a tower after this as well. I was going to say, it's not that I mind Blow going off to farm. I think it's probably smart. You need Armlet.
I guess that's beautiful deny, really. Just raging out, just to make sure he's not going to have to worry about it. Scandal jumping in, onto pause, gets the Vortex, but gets bursted hard. No life to work with. Hexed up, will fall, but they also trade out the Lion. A very, very efficient trade for them. Nevertheless, Spell still comes out for a homing missile, unfortunately. Koikwa is being chased, is going to be missiled up, but it's too much damage going across with a nice Ice Path dividing the field. In Light taking a lot of hits, the Shockwave finishes him, and Blow Your Brain should be next. Infest in a creep, but he will try to break out here. Rage, no, I mean, he is going to survive, but they've lost so much. Getting a Lion for 3 heroes, and 2 of them are your solos?
It's this Vigos Scandal is being... It's just not doing what you'd want it to do. You want that mobile force that really puts the fear into your opponents, and Mouz are just like, I think we'll just respond by magic damaging the hell out of your squishy, jumpy heroes. And so far it's gone extremely well for them, honestly. Fata, only 100 off from Blink now.
Shoot. Yeah, and I gotta say, a big part of it, in my opinion, I called this in the draft, but Pause's Hexes have always been on those fast-moving heroes, and being able to get a quick pick-off on those with the instant cast time, and the fact that it lasts so freaking long, now almost 4 seconds, speaking of, he's gonna take a lot of damage on the mid and probably fall, based on how many people have committed here, so... Yeah. Nevertheless, I'm just saying, he has great disables to lend, and one of them comes out immediately. So finding out Queen of Pain, hexing Vigos up before he could commit the Sonic Wave, that wins them a fight.
Right. That was a good kill for Empire, actually, because Light participated in it. This gives him a full level. He actually got a full level off of that kill, and they need that because Twista and Light are actually falling behind Paz and Alex, and this support pair of Paz and Alex has actually done a lot of work. Like I said, Jakiro, pretty great in these fights, and he's great when he's responsive. Like they've usually been just predicting where Empire are going to be when they try to initiate.
Link initiation onto Vigos. They smoked on up. They're going to skewer him into the tower. They get the hex and they bring him down. Beautiful, beautiful timing. Using that blink to draw some blood with it.
So many deaths for Empire on their critical heroes. I mean, 3 and 3 on Vigos. Pretty quiet game for him. 3 and 4 on Scandal. It's tough to argue that they need to be more passive, but they need something on the Storm or Queen of Pain, whether it's levels or items or what. It's going to be tough to deal with Fata. He's level 12, but they're still going aggressive. They've got Blow Your Brain inside of Scandal, and they might try to make something happen.
Yeah, I feel they need to do more when those polarities aren't cooldown. They use them very, very actively, and they've always capitalized on them, and then Empire doesn't really force that issue. I mean, when the hookshot and the RP are on cooldown, there's not really that much that Mouz has going on. We do see Scandal going in, but expending his entire mana pool, missing on the Lightning. Nevertheless, the Infest burst with the Queen of Pain, getting a revenge kill. Not going to be able to bring down Fata, though, as he TPs away, and Koikwa with a Force Staff actually will be perfectly fine.
Yeah, he just finished that. He had it delivered to him while they were pushing the tier 1. Actually, the fact that he doesn't have TP... Oh, he does have TP, so he's completely fine.
Yeah, he could have hookshot to the creeps. He has the TP. He just doesn't feel threatened.
not actually that great of a trade overall. I mean, it's more XP for Empire supports again, but all they get is pause for a tower? I don't know. If they get Koiko, that'd be one thing, but I think he's pretty safe by now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, right now, topping out experience for a minute, you definitely see...
They're going to turn it, I think. Oh, okay. He was pinging. They were pinging frenziedly, but they decided not to hook.
And rank 2 hook is still difficult to land from the position he was in, so I'm not too sure about it. But of course, he does have that force staff, so I wouldn't put anything past Koiko right here. Nevertheless, I think they feel so far in control that they don't need to force really long engages unless they have the team to back it up.
Right. But I mean, Magnus and Koikwa, they're the tankiest people. I mean, he's got Cloak, and I
going on in, they hook onto Vigas. They are going to go for that skewer, but the blink comes a little too shortly. Not sure why Battery Assault wasn't popped off. That might have given them one interrupt they needed to get the Magnus in RP range, but unfortunate.
Tough. It was just a little bit uncoordinated, but that's okay. I mean, the thing about Hookshot is, even before Aghanim Scepter, it's a fairly short cooldown. He can try again in about 30 seconds. And just keeping that map control, forcing Vigos back a little bit, or to a side lane at least, is valuable enough for them at this point, even if they don't quite score the kill. Just homing missile, actually, are they going to try to make something happen? No, they won't.
Nah, it's way too long range. It'd be a good lockdown if Clockwork had his ulti, but the rank 1 and 2 aren't the best as far as cooldowns go. They're not terrible by any stretch, but it's still, he's only going to get one per fight, and in that sense, he has already utilized that. They're smoking in again, though. Every time Magnus has this RP blink, they want to go in. They have great intentions here, and they could actually go skewer 2 together if they had full vision, but instead they're just going to find one, go for the shockwave and the stun, and actually go for a skewer attempt. Not going to work out, but they get the disables anyway, and they finish it off.
Just an easy kill for them. And this is all designed to just push Empire back, constrict their space, make them not feel good about the idea of sort of venturing out with the Queen of Pain and Storm Spirit and trying to get kills. Scandal, we see, this is the pedigree of a Storm who isn't having a good time, is when he feels that he has to go BKB first. Yeah. Which is, it's the right call.
We get a hookshot. We get a hookshot on in light, and he's going to get dropped before he can accomplish anything. We do see the Nake's Bomb coming out through, countering out that RP. They get the Sonic Wave as well, but the hammer drops, and they're going to be able to bring down the Storm Spirit. Net's looking at the Lifestealer, but he has plenty of HP to chew through. Armlet toggle away won't work against that. Actually, it does work once. He does survive. We do see Scandal trying to get some damage off, but actually jumping in, he should be able to finish off Magnus with a long duration Hex, locking him in place, and they go in for the Battery Assault as well. Scandal really wants to find Fata, but no such luck. They even try to go for the skewer on top of him. He finally escapes, just playing cat and mouse, but nevertheless doesn't accomplish anything with that buyback.
Scandal didn't accomplish anything, you would say?
I mean, he bought back, and I don't feel it was worth it.
He did save blow, but it was almost, I don't know, I feel like Mouz tried to bite the beat a little bit there. Like, they went on Scandal, all of them did, when he had all the mana to sort of lead them on a merry chase, and they gave up what I think was, in my opinion, basically a free kill on Blow Your Brain. He ran out of his ability to armlet toggle, to the like, he was so low that it wouldn't actually do that much for him. And one more hit from Black would have done it, but Black got distracted by the shiny object that says, looking for me, and he just started going after Scandal. I don't know. I feel like the Lifestealer kill was in hand there, and they just sort of let it go.
Yeah, it was really close, but the issue was that their Rocket Barrage ended right when he was gonna, right before the armlet toggle. Like, I'd say 0.2 seconds before the armlet toggle, the barrage ceased, and that gave him a tiny sliver of opportunity where Bully Brain was able to get the armlet toggle off. Seemed impossible, but he did it, and I don't think Mouz expected that. I thought they said, with this last right click, he's dead. And then they turned away, and suddenly, oh, he has another 500 HP because of Armlet.
Right.
And so,
I think so,
at that point, they had already shifted their focus, and they just couldn't get it back.
It is frustrating to try to kill Lifestealer with Armlet. I mean, undoubtedly. He gets so much back. We see Fata starting... The BKBs for Mouz, I think, are exactly what they want. They feel a lot more comfortable with these BKBs than I think Scandal's going to feel with his, just because it's going to limit his ability to actually do damage at the... I mean, the flip side being, of course, he's going to have much better survivability. But for Mouz, these BKBs are critical. Black is more than halfway to his. He's about 2/3, actually. And Fata has begun his. When they have BKBs on both of these two, Empire's lineup is so concentrated at dealing magic damage until that Lifestealer develops, which is why I said, like, I would really love for them to actually find these kills on Blow Your Brain, because he's doing okay. His levels aren't the greatest, but he has pretty good farm.
Comparing that to the enemy team, though, I mean, you were just talking about how many BKBs that are about to come up, and from there, a lot of their team fight's going to be gone, and I don't think Blow Your Brain is ready to be the carry that they need.
By no means is he ready yet, but if he continues to be able to farm well, I mean, his gold per minute is up there with the best people on Mouz. They're not comfortable yet, but this is their only hope after after they neutralize Vigos and Scandal with the BKBs. So Empire, if they're thinking the long game, have to be thinking about protecting the Lifestealer. And Mouz will know that. Look at these defensive wards.
Yeah,
like
I was just about to
how
comment.
much they're trying to control the vision on their side of the map.
Just dropped down that plateau ward there. They have one on the west. It doesn't even cover the room, but they don't care because they already have one on there. They're just spreading this web of vision, trying to counter-initiate, trying to find an opening. And they definitely have the heroes to do it. When we talk about the next bombs with that ball lightning, they go on in, trying to bring down Alex, but just a little bit too far across the river. They do not want to commit that far without any mana.
And yeah, I mean, that's the entire mana pool of Scandal, basically. The remaining mana pool gone there. Blow, I mean, I don't know. He's still finding the farm. I think this is hope for Empire at this point. This is sort of plan A, plan B. It's always nice to have a lineup where you do have a plan B. Their plan A was just dominate the game with Vigos Scandal, which I thought would work better than it did, frankly. These are two, like, they're such star players. Like, they're both very, very good and able to sort of dominate the 1v1 lanes, and it just didn't happen. So now it's plan B, big Lifestealer.
Yeah, but there's a lot of different ways to deal with that. Of course, we mentioned the reverse polarities a lot, but also this Clockwork is considered a counterpick to Lifestealer because how easily he can cage him. With the Force Staff, he hook shots in, he drops the cogs for a full 8 seconds, and he Force Staffs himself out.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Lifestealer is sitting there twiddling his thumbs.
Right. No, I think that's a great point, Blaze. Essentially, Empire have two attractive initiation targets in the form of the Magnus and the Clockwork. Magnus, for obvious reasons, but Clockwork because he's Mouz's best response to that Lifestealer. And so they're going to have to sort of decide which one of these two do we want to pick off with this next bomb. And usually it's most likely going to be Fata, but at the potential cost of Quakewa neutering the ability to blow your brain to clean up.
Exactly. 100% that. I mean, they also don't have an Orchid up to take down Fata specifically, so it's even harder to make him your primary target. So it's a really hard decision between initiating on the Clockwork and initiating on the Magnus, and the way things have been going, it doesn't even seem like they have that choice to make, because they're always on the defensive, and they're always the ones being initiated on.
Now, Vigos is going to go straight to Sheep. I like this, actually. I think going, at this point, starting your Orchid at 25 minutes is... not a winning play. So I like the Sheep Stick, I like the Scythe of Ice. They might get a kill
going deep, going deep. They do hit him, they do connect, but he gets the Force Staff, the cogs away. He's going to keep on the run, and he has a TP. So,
sick.
So much time.
I
don't even know about that Rubik. That just doesn't even make sense to me.
Out of place. They don't have the tier 1 here. He was just way too far up. Twisted knew, he went back.
Oh, they committed the reverse polarity at least. I mean, that was...
Yeah.
A little bit of unexpected level of initiation that they did bait out, but nevertheless, losing that Rubik, they can pretty much put damage in the tier 2 or whatever they want to accomplish.
And again, 2 levels behind for Mouz, basically, on both the Rubik and the Keeper of the Light. And Light and Twist are really having a tough time, and then obviously the mid situation is the same. Scandal 2 levels behind Fata. And so Quakewa, nice escape there. There's the Force Staff, right? It's just so useful. Good cogs placement as well. And Scandal just lacked the Ball Lightning necessary to catch up to him again. I mean, the mana for Ball Lightning. And that's the BKB Storm Spirit, Blaze, right? Like, he only has a mana pool of 923, and his mana regen is going to be fairly bad.
Yeah, so this is going to get worse before it gets better for Empire. This is going to get bigger and bigger deal. They do have the Desolator, so that's an extra really major burst of damage, piercing through 6 of their armor and amplifying the physical damage dealt. But along with that, he's the only right-clicker. It's not like you're a dual-core lineup where you're setting up another carry to dish out damage as well. The Queen of Pain does some right-click. I mean, Storm Spirit the same, but it doesn't add up to all that much. And when you compare that to the pickups that have recently come on through from Mouz, where they got the BKB, they're going to have the mechanism on Alex, it's going to get really painful.
So obviously Mouz bring the initiation from the Magnus, then Empire have a lot of counter initiation or even initiation with the Storm Spirit. But Blink on Lion's going to be a big deal. Pause can really just counter initiate.
Oh,
with that.
bad for Queen of Pain. There go the skewer on top of it into this Ice Path, and oh my gosh, that was just set up so bad for Vigos. Had to tank the homing missile eventually, but in that position there, Fata had plenty of time to set up that skewer right on into the rest of the team's hands.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the Desolator. I'm not sure how much I love this Desolator pick on BYB. You sort of take Desolator when you want to close the game out early, but I don't know what Empire's plan to close this out early
Yeah.
is. I feel like they're
Trying to go
getting
for a
done.
deny on the mid lane. They instead Lifesteal does pick it up and gets recalled away, but we do see a lot of damage coming into Enlight. He steals up a hook shot though. This could actually be a
Nice.
great fail.
Oh.
And suddenly it's no longer cool whatsoever, and they should be able to connect this down with the Magnus.
Yeah.
This could have been so amazing, but
Could
nevertheless.
have been. Coulda,
Sad,
shoulda,
sad
woulda.
Enlight. Just click the creeps, man. Just click the creeps.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's very tense. I mean, he had like literally a second and a half to make that happen.
Right. Right.
Is under attack.
It's tough for Empire, and I just don't know that they have the tools yet to respond. I mean, Scandal, he's still about 1,200 off from BKB. No, he has it. Okay, he has it. That's better than nothing. But still, like, a very, very constricted mana pool. We saw some good solo from Roxkiss. Actually had this pretty innovative or smart way of delay tactics as Storm, where you blink from the fountain to the tier 3 and then back to the fountain, which does a ton of damage to those creeps as well as some harassment damage to the heroes. Problem is, I don't think Scandal's mana pool can actually support that.
Yeah, it's
Like,
so difficult.
I just don't know how they're going to be able to delay this out except with great illuminates, but when they want to, Mouz can just BKB up. Fata's actually going to be done with his
Yeah.
BKB in 100 gold, and
Is under attack.
Koikoi done with the Ags as well. There we go.
Oh, there's the hook shot, but on the creeps actually connecting, going right on by them. Instead, focuses on the Keeper of Light while Enlight gets shredded. No chance to steal the RP now. They can pretty much accomplish what they want. Nice Illuminate going on through, as well as a mechanism to try to keep them up. There is going to be a quick pause as Storm Spirit unfortunately disconnects, which is rather untimely when you consider he has Nakes inside him. And actually, where's the Nakes now? Maybe he moved. No, he's still inside him, yeah. He has Nakes inside him, and that's two heroes that disconnected effectively. One who didn't really have a choice in the matter.
What do you think a Lifestealer feels when the hero that he's infested inside disconnects? Where does he end up?
It's just like, he feels... I don't know, he feels dead inside. I'm just really not too sure. It looks like there are some issues with Rust and internet connections that are rather unfortunate, but I would assume that would affect more than just one player, so I'm not sure.
I think Vigos might be dead too. This is a 4-second disable. They could rotate. They've got Ice Path coming up. He might escape. Fata has to get over there in RP for this to actually happen.
Exactly,
but
they haven't
still.
committed the reverse polarity, and they should in just a moment. His position there, he won't have Blink, so it is actually
Right.
a pretty big distance to run, considering he is all the way up there.
He'll have Blink, actually.
What?
He'll have Blink before Vigos's Hex expires.
No, the Shadow Strike is probably going to put it right back on cooldown. It takes every 3 seconds,
yeah,
so
I
the
didn't
timing is
notice he has
difficult.
Shadow Strike, you're right.
So, I mean, that's technically, it could be applied at a certain time or window where it wouldn't put it on
right.
cooldown, but more often than not, that's how you're going to see it.
You don't have to make me sound smarter than I am, Blaze. I said a dumb thing.
Don't worry about it. Okay, Storm jumping back on in. Scandal wants to make something happen here, but I just feel like it's already over. They lost the Rubik. They have no chance to steal the reverse polarity, which could be forthcoming if they can close the distance. But either way, in this position here, they're treading water.
Yeah, and I mean, Enlight has had a tough game. What is he, 1-9?
Something along those lines.
0-9-2.
Ugh,
Blaze.
that's painful. Especially for a Rubik.
I mean, to be fair to Rubik, what are his tools to get away from these blinkers and this Jakiro and stuff?
All
Like,
right,
he's-
focus down on Quap. Can they do it? The hook shot, yeah, they certainly can.
Yep.
With Koikoi committing the hook shot, they followed up
I mean-
with just every other spell in the book, and they're perfectly
Yes.
fine there.
It's a 12-second cooldown with Scepter.
Oh, actually, didn't you see that he caught the scepter just yet? So that's pretty awesome for him.
Has fallen.
Yep, yep. I mean, Mao's totally in control. Empire, unfortunately, just not quite finding the balance with their new lineup. They are, of course, playing with even a stand-in for what I think their standard new lineup is, because I think it's hard to even Twista are their standard substitutes here, but unfortunately, Enlight not really changing the balance of this confrontation at all, only finding 2 assists the entire game. He's actually going to die again. This is out of position, really.
Actually, it could be an okay fight. Blow Your Brain does get locked down pretty long term, though. Scandal popped off that BKB, but he's out of mana. So, yeah, they're just going to clean this up really, really quickly. Black using that BKB and big right-click damage to just clean it up 100% here. Queen of Pain going to try to do something, gets bounced back by the cogs, can't find the Vector for a good Sonic Wave, and instead, Hookshot comes on in to finish off Rubik, looking for one more with Twista, but actually delaying it a little bit. Sonic Wave does hit on both, and without a mechanism available, they could be dropped down, but right now the Hex is such a long duration, and it looks like Vigos will fall. Last target, the hook shot, doesn't hit on Twista. He could make it out. He could make it. No.
Nope.
So that's going to be it. Good game is called, and why not in this
no.
situation? Koikwa is the casualty of war, but they cleaned it up.
753 gold distributed with the death of that Clockwork. 10-2-12. I don't know. I just feel like Mouz had so many stuns, especially after that Ag Scepter comes up on Clockwork. That's a 12-second stun from the Clockwork. Jakiro obviously brings the Ice Path. Homing Missile did some work for stuns this game.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Magnus brings the stuns. Lion brings the double disable. Whereas Empire, telekinesis?
Yep.
And
Electric
the
Vortex.
Storm Spirit thing that I always forget what it's called, Electric Vortex. They have so little disabling, and they just wanted to rely on their huge damage. But instead of their huge damage, they ended up having to rush the BKB on Storm Spirit in response to this 5 stuns brought out from Mouz. Every single player had disable. And so every fight that Empire wanted to generate, and you were completely correct to point this out coming from the Lion, Paz or Alex were immediately there with the response, or Fada was there with the counter initiation. And Empire, they consisted of a lot of damage, but no damage delivery vehicles. They couldn't bring that damage over to Mouz.
Yeah, it's very, very painful, and I gotta say the lockdown was just too strong for Queen of Pain or Storm Spirit to make something happen. I mean, there was just a control from Mouse Sports. It was always them with the upper hand in that sense, and it just got worse and worse. The BKBs, the Blink Daggers, everything came out before that was possible for Empire. He'd finally get his BKB, but what did he accomplish with it? It feels like almost nothing, because the right-click damage of Gyrocopter at that stage was almost overwhelming. So
also, okay, your Storm Spirit lives, but if you can't do anything for damage, what was the point? Like, okay, you have an alive Storm Spirit. The difference between an alive Storm Spirit not doing anything and a dead Storm Spirit not doing anything is not a lot.
It depends on the mana pool, but he didn't have much to back that up either.
Right, exactly. Yeah. The other thing is, so the 0-10-2 Rubik I want to quickly discuss. The fact is, part of this is the fact that Mouz identified that's their only reliable disable other than Storm Spirit. So if we take him out early in the fights, they have no stuns. Yeah. They can't close on us. They can't get away from us. They can't do anything.
Yeah, that was. They got really good picks on Light. He still got some good telekinesis, occasionally telekinesis or something. But those were early game when they had equal levels. But now we see that just kind of just spun out of control completely. I mean, it's a level 9 Rubik against 14s, 17s, and 16s. Yeah, you're not really going to have too much opportunity to make something happen there. So, yeah, he didn't have any mobility tools himself, no Force Staff, and from there, he just couldn't get in the position other than a dead one. So that is a situation they just had to deal with, and it is going to be game 1 taken away 100% as Mouz are moving in well on their way to try to close it out for a 2-0. But I'm sure Empire are going to be kicking back. They really want to be in contention for the playoffs. It's what they've been working towards for a long while. We'll have to see if the stand-ins plus the 3 core members of Empire will be able to actually get that done.
Yep, we'll see.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, this is the Premier League, one of the last games of Season 4, but this has been a pleasure casting it up for you guys. I am Blaze. You can check me out at Twitch. Not Twitch. I mean, I do have twitch.tv/blazecasting, but I haven't run that in quite some time. So, more so, you can check me out at twitter.com/blazecasting. And if you want to check out Vikrmont, he has plenty of other things as well. He has a website, he has a Twitter, he has a Twitch, and that's all VYKROMOND is what that's under.
Yep.
So
Google me.
Sure enough. Google Strunk. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll get on into Game 2 to decide who's going to be going on forward with the points, and if Mouse Sports will take some nice honor on their way out the door, or if it will be Empire in contention for the playoff slot. We'll have to see. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and Game 2 is on its way.